Did everyone find a copy buddy? Raise your hand if you found a copy buddy.
I've got a duplicate, so if anyone doesn't have one, I would love to.
I need one.
All right, there you go.
Robert.
Kenny, what's your name?
Matt.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for helping me out, Brandon.
Writing down an idea and putting it in the Google Doc. Everyone's doing that, right?
Yep.
Reading a promo a day. Writing down a page a copy a day.
Let's talk about that promo day really quick. So you guys have read 2 promos now, right? You read, and I talked to some people about some of the questions about one of the promos at least. You guys read the Money Map promo, which was about they're looking for 350 partners or something like that a day. And you guys probably, you should have, read that crazy promo yesterday, right? Where there's some conspiracy between our government and the church. Number one takeaway. Somebody call out number one takeaway from either of those 2 promos, which you read down in your perfect promo formula.
I need 2 more of the what makes a big idea an ordinary idea template.
You need this?
I wrote
I don't know
down
what that one is.
that no matter how crazy and how
Ordinary idea.
obscure and weird the lead is, if the product is interesting, I want to buy it.
Okay, so let's talk about that for just a second, right? Say that again.
No matter how crazy or I don't want to use the word extraordinary, but bizarre or weird the biblical lead was, I've always been fascinated by the whole like doomsday scenario, and I wanted to order the product.
Did that sales letter work?
Did that sales letter work?
It must have made a lot of money.
Yeah, it worked.
So
So
Brian, I need 2 more of these, please.
let's talk about that for just a second. We're going to get into this in further copy camp. But there's an idea that the product is mightier than the pen. And we're going to talk a whole lot about that later in the copy camp. So that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah,
Is
that was my impression. I wanted that thing so bad.
So remember that idea that the, I don't know what that says about you.
I wondered the same thing.
Keep that to yourself. The idea that the product is mightier than the pen is very, 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 very important. And we've suffered from that, and we've reaped the rewards from that at different times. So just remember that. We'll cover it in a later copy camp. Anybody else? Number one takeaway from either of those 2 promos?
I think it was very interesting. It's a minor thing, but it drew my attention several times throughout the promo. It's that they're using the word partner in venture capital firm and pre-IPO owner. You're going to be a pre-IPO owner versus using the word investor or shareholder or something like that. I personally was impressed by that. Like they use it several times throughout the thing.
Yep, so they use kind of new terminology and
Much
new
more
language
powerful, yeah.
so that you as a reader couldn't
wanna be
dismiss
that.
it as I've seen this before because you hadn't seen that before.
It was like, I want to be that person.
Yep. Cool. What else?
I know with the wacky one, the conspiracy one, it had to be the case where it could only exist, that promo could only exist like a few years ago when there was like tensions between us and Russia. 'Cause I was afraid of us going to war at any moment. And I could feel, I would probably be the customer base for that back then, you know, when like the Zeitgeist stuff came out and, you know, Obama was doing all these crazy things. So I think the takeaway for me was that it really, at a certain time, and the idea kind of like it's at its most prime. It's like it's at its ripest, given the time.
Yep. So hold that thought because we're going to cover that a lot starting today too because you're dead on with that. Gerald, you had one.
Yeah, to pivot off of what you were saying, like the idea that you're not just selling profit potential in that scenario, but you're also selling like more subtle like, belonging, like being part of the group.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The idea of being part of some bigger movement,
Yeah,
right?
something bigger than yourself.
Judd.
I saw like the second one as being like very niche focused, and they even use the word in the end, patriots and Christians. So it's just like zeroing in, and that audience was all about that during that time.
Yep.
So
writing to that very, very specific
just like really
niche
drilling
audience.
down and say, hey, patriots and Christians, get this.
Yep.
Almost, yeah.
Sean, what do you got?
My takeaway was that it's like don't let the reader feel like he's alone.
Mm-hmm.
So we just make sure that we're supporting him. Like, hey, we got your back. We're
Empathy.
this thing. We're right on board with you. So
Yep. And that kind of comes back to what Gerald said too, right? Feeling part of something.
Yep.
Versus out on your own. Jimmy, did you have one?
Yeah, I did. So I noticed that there's a powerful difference between having artificial scarcity and having organic scarcity, meaning like here's what the world is doing and here's how it's moving, with or without me, with or without you. To either get on board the train or not because it's about to take off. And so it's just like a natural form of scarcity that you can't disagree with.
Give us a manufactured form of scarcity that you've seen before.
Technology. So for example, if let's say a stock is about to, I don't remember what the stock was, but this company just created, oh, it's the one we just looked at, or just looked at about a company that makes lasers for doing LASIK. And so they just came up with a new way to produce a more accurate laser, and they're getting ready to have it passed by the FDA. So it's get on board the stock because this technology is about to be approved.
But that's still organic urgency, right? That's natural urgency?
Yes.
So manufactured urgency.
Oh, you mean like artificial?
Artificial,
urgency.
yeah. Would just be like, hey, we got 500 of these to give away with no real reason.
Yeah, there's
right?
only 10 free PDFs to download. So
Exactly.
You better
Well, they're
get on
PDFs.
board.
So.
Yeah, right.
Got it. Okay, anybody else real quick? If not,
I was saying,
sir.
you just said it, but the sense of belonging, it was kind of the opposite thing too. It was you belong to this group, but nobody else does. It was very exclusive. Kind of important.
It's known as called the velvet rope technique.
Okay, you guys, who all brought the boxes? Here comes the big reveal. But before we get there, we're gonna guess what's in the box, 7 style. You guys all watch 7?
Yeah.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I think it's a pen.
You think it's a pen?
Yeah.
It's not a pen.
It's not a pen. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, but you're getting closer. That's a good guess, though.
I know this. It's
Okay.
like a thing you put on your pen.
No, nothing pen related.
I think it's Bob.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle is the closest guess we've had so far.
Ever.
I think it's
Action figure is getting a little closer. Okay, go ahead. Noah.
Transformer.
Hold on. Can
Open.
we open?
Yeah, open. And I'll tell you a story about this in a second.
Mine's pink.
Mine's pink. I thought it was me.
And I want you to fully,
Grandpa Kurt.
I want you to fully open this thing. So you gotta take it out of the box.
I should have left the pen off.
I never would have guessed.
Yeah.
So take this puppy out of the box.
Oh my god, I love him forever. I love him.
Okay, so we want to tell you guys a story, right? Meet Grandpa Kurt. This is Grandpa Kurt. This is who you're writing to with each and every promotion that you write for Agora Financial. This is your ideal avatar that you're writing to. So I'm going to tell you a story about Grandpa Kurt in a second. But what you're going to do is you're going to put this on your desk, and it will never leave your desk. And every idea that you come up with, every headline that you write, you stare at him and you ask, what would Grandpa Kurt think about this idea? And it will help you write copy in many, many, many different ways. So let me tell you a little bit of a story about Grandpa Kurt. So Grandpa Kurt is 71 years old. Grandpa Kurt is a Vietnam War veteran. Grandpa Kurt, after he got out of the Vietnam War, became a dentist and started his own dentistry practice. He has now retired. He has made a decent amount of money in his life. He gave his money to mainstream Wall Street at some point in his life, and they ruined his money. They did not get him out of the tech wreck in the late 90s and the early 2000s. They did not get him out of the housing collapse in early 2008. Now Grandpa Kurt is sitting on a small fortune of which they did not ruin. He's terrified of the mainstream. He's distrustful. He's conservative, generally in nature, / libertarian in nature. And he has now said, I've been smart enough to make this money in my life. I'm going to be smart enough to manage my money. But he doesn't know how to do that because he's been in war, dentistry school, and he's a generally good businessman, but he doesn't have stock analysis, in his background. He doesn't really know what an option is, but he's intrigued. He doesn't want to lose any of his fortune that he's already lost twice because of mainstream finance. So Grandpa Kurt starts looking for ideas. How do I manage this small fortune that I'm sitting in, because when I die, when Grandpa Kurt dies, he'd like to leave that fortune to his family. His house is paid off. He lives a very conservative lifestyle. Grandpa Kurt is who you're writing to each time. Grandpa Kurt has somehow been scouring the internet. He's sitting on Yahoo Finance. He's trying to research his own ideas. We are going to target Grandpa Kurt. That is our customer. So again, the way that this is going to help you write copy is that every time you have an idea, every time you go to write an idea in that idea sheet, you look at that thing and you say, what would Grandpa Kurt think? This will help you eliminate many, many, many different ideas, right? So Grandpa Kurt has some health concerns as well. We're going to leave that out for right now, since this is mainly going to be a financial copywriting kind of course. But Grandpa Kurt, generally on Facebook, but he's really on Facebook just to look at his family photos and his grandkids' photos. He's skeptical. He's insanely skeptical. He's seen a lot of different shit happen in his lifetime, right? And a lot of different things that have been lied to him. He's skeptical. He has seen promotions like ours. He's dismissed promotions like ours. He's maybe bought something in the past, maybe didn't work out the way that he thought it was going to work out. So he's pretty distrustful. You have to overly prove to get Grandpa Kurt to pull out his wallet. So that's the big reveal. It's going to help you from here to not only the end of copy camp, right, but to the end of your careers, which is hopefully a long, a vibrant time. But every time you have an idea, what would Grandpa Kurt think about this idea? The reality of it is, you're not writing to yourself. Does that make sense?
No.
People fall into this trap many, 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 many different times, because they may get excited by an idea. We're not the demographic. That's the demographic. Grandpa Kurt's the demographic. So that's a little bit different than most of us, right? Do you have a question?
Yeah, at least a lot of stuff you just said.
Yeah, we can get
I
to
tried
it.
to write that, so it didn't work.
Yeah, we get it.
We'll have enough